look, nations, it happens to nations. Where did we go wrong as the church to influence this culture? I think oftentimes the biggest challenge in any culture is weak Christians, shallow Christians. They don't know their God, which is why people calling with these questions, there is a hunger. So at the same time, I think in the last days, we could see a resurgence of real biblical Christianity, really desiring at the same time a strong persecution of those anti-God. And you know what? It could be a challenging time for Christians, but that's okay. You know, we can shine our light in the midst of the darkness.
Amen. That's the key. It's to shine the light. Jesus said, you're the light of the world, not that you should be or become, but you are. So thank you again for tuning in. We're here live in the studio. So what Bible question do you have for us today? What question on the Christian faith? The lines are open. Give us a call right now, 888-712-7434, 888-712-7434. Let's go out to Otisville, New York, talk to Doubting Thomas. Hi, Thomas.
Hi.
I'm sure there's a story behind that name, Doubting Thomas, but I appreciate you calling.
Well, this is Lloyd Pulley?
Yes.
Yeah, I listened to a tape of yours years ago that had to do with science and the Bible and how things fit in, and how science is just beginning to catch up with what it already says in the Bible. But in spite of that, I'm an agnostic, let's put it that way, when it comes to both God and evolution. But at least evolution gives me a plausible idea about where we came from, how life began. But there are a lot of variables and too many details that just can't be accounted for things to fit together in just the right order for things to happen. It's a little bit much for me. And I could say the same thing about God, too, and it's like this. According to you guys, a cajillion years ago, God was. And a cajillion years from now, God will be. This eternity thing, I have a hard time wrapping my head around. Where did God come from?
Okay, well, Thomas, thank you for even calling us and asking this question, Pastor Lloyd.
And we'll give you a chance to respond as well, but we just want to get to that because it's a very good question. You know, the idea is that, first of all, the way we measure time, you know, God is outside of time if he is indeed God, because even in the beginning where God created the heavens and the earth and let there be light, you've got time, matter, and space that actually all are connected. You can't have time without matter and space because it's all measured in that. So once you get out of the physical dimension, you know, time has no meaning. We can't understand that. It would be like a fish trying to understand, outside of the water. He lives in the water. He's so part of it, he can't conceive of being outside the water. So the idea for us to conceive outside of time is difficult. So God is eternal, which is different than just a gazillion years. He's eternal. He exists in that eternal realm that time doesn't have an impact, which is why he can intervene in time, where you see references of Jesus, the angel of the Lord, coming back and appearing before Abraham. Abraham saw him, talked with him. And so he's outside of that time dimension. But where the idea is everything needs to cause. You know, this is kind of science. You know, every effect has a cause. So who caused God? Well, yeah, that would be a category of error in logic, because by nature, God is one who has no cause. That, in other words, he's the first cause. And it would be like asking, what does blue smell like? You know, it doesn't. There's no category. They don't fit together. To ask if God was cause, then he's not God anymore. The real problem, you know, Thomas, that I think, Doubting Thomas, I appreciate that. You're honest with that, and I appreciate that very much. The real issue we have with this is then what's more plausible? Now, you mentioned evolution, and oftentimes people just go to, you know, the Darwinian origin of species, and certainly we have evidence of a lot of speciation. That is, within species, all kinds of changes to the environment. And I believe God built those within all the genetic code, just like he built us into, you know, to deal with a lot of sun. You know, our skin, you know, builds up some, you know, melanin in it. It protects the skin and changes. You have different cultures, ethnicities that separated from, the Tower of Babel, so you have different adjustments. You have birds that adjust to different environments, butterflies. So within that, some call that macro or micro evolution. I don't like to even use the term evolution. It's God built all that in, the potential for change to adapt to environment. But nothing is said about, when the Big Bang, the whole basis of it is that order came out of chaos. That has more problems to me than in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. If you can accept verse 1 of the Bible, the rest is really a piece of cake. So that's what I would challenge you on. You've got to make up your mind. Do you believe everything here is a result of chance, or that there was an intelligent mind behind it? Now, there's problems in the world. To be sure, people question, how could there be a good God and God that created if there's so much evil in the world? Well, the Bible answers all of that. But, at the end of the day, it's either eternal matter or eternal God, and that's the challenge.
Does that help, Thomas? I know that are you there?
Yes, I'm listening.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about what I'm hearing.
The other thing, Thomas, if you don't mind me asking you a question, are there things that you believe in that you have not been proven to you? Like anything that you believe in that you don't have any proof for? Are there anything that that, hey, I believe in this, but I don't have any proof for it, but I still believe in it?
Well, I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
Mm-hmm.
My father and mother don't actually